Hello there and welcome back to Elite Healers Sports Massage online, coming to you from the heart of New York City, featuring myself, Adam Cardona. Today is the final episode of the Specific Self-Care series. In today's episode, what we will be talking about is stretching techniques that you need to know for the muscles in your lower leg and in your foot. Now, we won't go over every single muscle in the lower leg and in the foot, but we are going to be going over some of the most important muscles in that area. So if you want to learn more about other muscles, whether it's in the lower leg and foot or anywhere else in the body that aren't gone over on this YouTube channel, then what you want to do is sign up for our Patreon account, and for as little as $5 a month, you can have access to more videos and even clips that don't come out, so you don't have to go through the entire episode. You can just watch the actual technique. And also, one other thing, if you're really excited to learn these lower leg and foot techniques, make sure that you firmly press down on that like button and you show some support, which makes me feel good and helps the video get out to other people. Alrighty, so this is a really important stretch that everyone who's an active walker, gets a lot of steps in during a day, a runner, or does any movement that points up the toes, really needs to know how to do on your own. My fellow New Yorkers, this one's totally for you. And we're going to talk about how to stretch out those muscles of the shin, because when you're walking around all day, they definitely need you to take care of them. The movement that these two muscles mainly do is they pick up your toes. So every time you're picking up those toes, or even pressing like a gas pedal and doing all that, you're working these muscles. There's more than one way to stretch it out, but I'm going to show you the seated technique, and I honestly believe that this is a very easy to do stretch anywhere. It's easy to learn and to do correctly, and you want to learn how to do something correctly. You don't want to do something the wrong way. That's just a bad idea. So it's going to have some similar aspects to the Piriformis stretch, which I'll put up on the screen and you can watch, but it's one thing to do that, and then it's one thing to do this. If you can't get your foot up first because you're having some tightness, do that stretch first, get yourself into position, and then you can do this particular stretch. Now, before I show you the stretch, make sure that you firmly press down on that like button to support this video and my channel. Now, to do this stretch, have a chair that's low enough for your feet or your foot to make contact with the floor. Then what you're going to do is you're going to sit down and you're going to cross your leg over, and then what you're going to do is you're going to need both hands for this particular one. So you're going to put one hand over the lower leg, and then the other one you're going to put over your foot, and then you're just going to take it and you're going to point those toes downward, pointing in this particular case to my left, but you're looking at it and it's on your right. You hold and you stretch, right? You get a little bit of a twist, and that'll really stretch out the muscle. And you hold and you breathe 30-60 seconds, then you release. Then you just do the same thing. You cross that leg over, you hold the lower leg and the foot, and you stretch. And that is how you stretch out the shin muscles. Alrighty, so the next stretch I'm going to teach you is how to stretch the two muscles of the calf. This one is going to be the correct form to stretching out the gastrox, aka the gastrocnemius muscle, which might not be fully stretched if you use the wrong technique, and I know you want to have the right technique. Did you know that the muscles of the calf are also known as the triceps surae, aka the triceps of your lower leg? That's because the calf muscles, they have three bellies, and just like the triceps, they form a similar shape to that upper body equivalent. The stretch that I'm about to show you is a really simple stretch, and it can be done anywhere that you find a wall or a surface that's elevated, you know, like a step or a staircase. Really, the wall's going to be the only tool you need for this stretch. But hey, good news is, no matter where you are in the world, walls are found everywhere on this planet Earth, and if you're really far from a wall, I'm sure there's a rock that you can do it on. One thing you should know is that you can do the stretch with sneakers or barefoot. And in most cases, stretching barefoot will give you a few more benefits than doing it with a sneaker, but you know, it's up to you. This is because the foot is making direct contact with the wall, and what that does is the shoe is like a plank, so the foot can stretch at points that the shoe or sneaker would get in the way of that wouldn't otherwise be stretched, since that shoe or sneaker would restrict truly free movement. Now, if you already like the value that I'm giving you, make sure that you press down on that like button to show a little bit of support. To begin to stretch, I'm going to want you to get into a position that's going to allow you to be near a wall. Then what I'm going to have you do is you're going to put your toes up to the wall, and from here you will make sure that your heel is the balance point. You're going to keep your knee straight and you're going to lean into it. You should feel that in your calf muscle, and if not, you might also feel it like in the foot or the hamstring if you're doing it correctly and doing it without shoes. 30-60 second hold, then you switch off. You bring the toes up nice and high. Midfoot should be off the floor. Heel should be the point that you make contact with the floor. Keep the knee straight and just stretch out. Lean into it and you'll stretch out the gastrox and you might get the hamstring. Then when you're done, then you come up off the wall and you'll have just stretched out your calf muscles on both sides. The next stretch I'm going to demonstrate is one that's going to help you stretch out the plantar fascia of your foot and the muscles located in that area that are known as the foot flexor muscles. They are really well known by runners because one of the things that happens, unfortunately, with runners is that they could suffer from plantar fasciitis from a lot of running. What I'm going to teach you is not a cure for plantar fasciitis. Oh, no, 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 no. But remember, taking care of any part of your body is going to allow you to recover faster so you can train sooner, and it's going to help reduce your chances of injury. I mean, nothing's perfect. You can't just avoid injury, but you can reduce your chances. So learn this technique. Commit to doing it a few times a week after a run or anything that involves your feet a lot so you can recover faster and stay healthier for longer. And that's just something we all want to do, isn't it? Stay healthy for longer. If you want to learn more about plantar fasciitis, because I know there's quite a few runners that watch the channel, make sure you subscribe because I see a lot of you are not subscribed just yet. And I'll make a video at some point about it, so you'll get that alert as long as you hit that notification button as well. Now, just like how I'm going to show you the calf stretch, what you're going to need is you're going to need a wall to perform this particular technique. And I want you to have your shoes off for this one. This one, it's important to have the shoes off. You do not have to have your socks on like the way I'm going to have for this example, but that's all up to you. I just don't want you to have a shoe on. So now what we're going to do from this point is we're going to begin to approach that wall, and then we'll step towards the wall. We'll put our toes pointing up against the wall and try to get our midfoot and our heel to make contact with the floor. Your toes will point up. They'll be hopefully pointing towards the ceiling unless you're really tight. You'll hold and you'll breathe, 30-60 seconds. Then after that, you release. You switch off to the other foot. Toes point up, and you see my toes are a little high, so I brought it down so the midfoot could make contact with the floor. Not the arch, but just the other side, the lateral or the outside part of the foot, as they say. Hold and breathe, 30-60 seconds. And once you're done, you can step off. And that is how you stretch out your foot flexor muscles.